Well, to discuss further the lifting of the ban on Dana Air, I'm being joined now on the News at 10 by Group Captain John Obakpolor, Chairman, Technical and Administrative Panel on Aviation. Group Captain Obakpolor, you're welcome to the News at 10.
Thank you.
Well, we understand that the restoration of Dana Airlines operating licenses based on the findings of the technical report. You're chairman of that technical committee. Could you give us a sneak peek into the report?
Thank you very much. I wish to say that for the first time ever in aviation history in this country, a panel such as the one I chaired was set up. Not the accident investigation, but administrative technical review panel of domestic airlines. The reason and the aim of the committee was to see into and then advise using the reports or the preliminary reports or anything that is found out to stem the cause of accident or further accident occurring in the country. It was good because when accident happened, crash occurred, there is always emotion. People cry out and you can't stop it. But what you can stop is events leading to such things happening again. And that is why when the panel was set up, people were crying that it was illegal. I laughed because there was nothing illegal about it. Any action you take to stop or stem accident happening again is action taken in the right direction.
So what did the committee find out at the end of the day?
Well, there were a lot of things, but not as being carried on, speculated on by majority of the people, which you cannot blame anybody. The airline was asked to go back to continue its operation because there was nothing wrong with the machine, that is the aircraft, contrary to what people were peddling around. You see, aircraft is never wrong. It is the command you give the aircraft that the aircraft obey. And that is the problem. Nobody today knew what happened to the aircraft because it is very difficult to believe, hard to believe, that two engines flame out the same, almost simultaneously, same time, in a journey of less than 1 hour. Because that aircraft has a certificate for extended operation, which we call ETOP. There are two engines. If two engines take the aircraft up, it's airborne, one engine can manage it up there and then fly its duration and land. That is what we call ETOP certification the aircraft had. The two engines had clean bill of health.
Okay.
Yes, the two. Contrary to what people were saying, yeah.
If the two engines, as you said, were cleared, they were fine, then why did the aircraft crash?
Good. That's what
That
is what I'm telling you.
Pilots call Mayday.
That's what I'm telling you. Aircraft, you see, most of the accidents that happen are never due to technical problems.
Really?
Yes. You see, you have majority of the percentage, 75%, it's always due to human error. Like I said, it's the command you give the aircraft that the aircraft carries out. Wow. If you give a wrong command, it obeys you wrongly.
I'm not sure how a lot of Nigerians are actually going to take this, because a lot of people had, different speculations.
That is it.
People said, some of their family members who were on that plane were calling them, right inside, and they were like, we had crashed and everything. But,
Yes, they will know they are crashing because the aircraft is not behaving the way it should behave.
So what happened? I mean, it's really, I don't know how to connect what you're saying here with what happened on that day, because no, seriously, the plane crashed and people died.
It did.
And you said there was nothing wrong with the plane.
Yes, you see, this is a purely technical language I use.
But you're speaking to
you. Okay, I'm speaking
140 million Nigerians
that's
who
right.
don't have any technical
The
knowledge
aircraft
of what
is
you're
like
saying.
a new car. You're driving a new car. Then you are going. The engine oil, the engine, the tires, everything is perfect. It's moving for you. All of a sudden, something comes across your way. What happened? Rather than pressing the brake, you hit the accelerator. What happens? That is, you give a wrong command, and the car obeys you. So, in this case, something happened to one of the engines at the beginning. Okay. The aircraft cannot turn back on its own. I said, let me go back to where I started. It should have returned to where it started. We've had several cases of air return, but it did not happen in this way. It continued on its journey. Because the captain now knows that, he could make Lagos.
On one engine.
Yes, because 11 nautical miles to Lagos, he declared Mayday. Then, further on, something happened. He told the co-pilot, we've lost the throttle control, which means the engine, the active engine, has packed up. And he was seeing the airport, but he couldn't get there. The only thing to push it to reach the airport is an engine. And the two engines now went silent. And that is why I was saying that it is very difficult to explain why two engines should pack up in a journey of less than 50 minutes. The engineers find it difficult to explain. Technically, it is difficult to explain because they are both independent of fuel supply.
Okay, I just want to quickly throw this in before we wrap up this conversation because we're running out of time. Well, if we had set up, a technical administrative panel like this one for other airlines that experienced crashes, such as Sosoliso and ADC, would they also have had their licenses returned, perhaps?
Yeah, there are two different scenarios, two different cases. Because in the case of Sosoliso, ADC, those were natural phenomena. It was wind shear, that was clear. Everybody knew it. Wind shear happened, and the aircraft, the pilot did not know that he was going to. ADC, never say Sosoliso. A little bit two different things. One landed and never got aid on time. I landed, he couldn't control. That's Sosoliso. The ADC never got he got airborne, couldn't sustain. That was, he ran into a wind shear phenomenon and just went off. So the two are not, in fact, they are not similar at all in any way. You see, if you granted these ones, and the three airlines are still, if we have found out that there were malpractice in maintenance, then you hold them.
Okay, you're talking about malpractice in maintenance now.
Yes.
We some of the people who are in Dana Air, we had some people call in at a certain time and were saying that they knew that that plane was faulty. The plane that took off from Abuja was faulty. They said it had taken off from somewhere in, I think, Calabar or somewhere else. And they had complained about the plane and all that. And you're telling them that there was something wrong with the plane. Okay,
let Nigerians know now that on board that aircraft was an engineer that flew from Lagos to Abuja on board that aircraft. He was going for an assignment in Abuja. He got there, and then he dispatched that aircraft back. If it was faulty, if there was anything, he would have reported. Two, what the former, let me use the word, former employees of Dana, were not technical people. They will not know the status of the aircraft. So it's all speculations. To grind the machinery of emotion, to hype it up. It was not so. Because what was available to us, what we found out, not what Dana told us, what we found out based on our own experience. Because on that committee, you have 4 captains. 4 captains. You have 2 engineers. You have a military pilot who is in the presidential fleet. All have enough experience. Who went through their books, who went through the log books. There is nothing to hold against the airline, the status of the aircraft. If we say we believe that they were holding on not to release the discrepancies with the aircraft to save their job, we found it difficult to believe. Because they're all speculation. People say things to suit a situation. But in this case, I wanted to say that at that time, all comments, actions by National Assembly or everybody was not conducive to aviation operation because they scared people from flying.